Greetings and welcome to another video. After having finished the 10 levels for my Red Mage quite quickly in the last week, I had plenty of time to test it out in all sorts of endgame content, mostly dungeons, but also finally in the recent 2 extreme trials where I've beaten the first already. But don't worry, there will be no footage or spoilers from these. However, I also did some runs with the summoner so we can have a very solid sparring partner for this comparison. And as the summoner has undergone significant changes, I dare spoil you in this one. The Red Mage has been changed as well. But are these changes impactful enough to finally overcome the summoner's power and gameplay enjoyment? Stay with me for some minutes and you might find it out, at least for what I think about it. First, let me talk a bit about the Red Mage changes, which seem to lack impact and significance, but believe me, they have impact. Yes, Manification now granting a free burst and melee combo while retaining the damage boost, and the overall mana requirements have been reduced, which is the best change since the first days of Red Magic. And while the Manification thing sounds like the big highlight, the real hero can be found in a 50-50 mana requirement for the enchanted melee combo. Because even when the mana costs have been reduced by 30 on each side, the total amount of mana remains identical, leading to a much higher stacking potential and finally making the enchanted combo and its devastating follow-up spells worth to use Embolden with, especially due to the fact that it had been changed as well, finally granting spell damage to the Red Mage itself. So this, plus less mana costs and Manification being reworked, introduces cool new ways to line up cooldowns for yourself and your party without having to decide for either. Above that, the timing windows in general, especially on the Red Mage opener, have been heavily improved to not run into awkward pre-pull openers and rotations, featuring yet another tweak for our dear acceleration spell. Because now it doesn't work proactive anymore but reactive, making the next spell become an instant spell instead of simply adding guaranteed procs for Verstone and Verfire. That simply feels amazing and bridges the gap between certain windows where the Red Mage had no good tool to overcome longer periods of movement or very spontaneous walking. But even here we are gifted with more changes to make those windows less punishing, because Enchanted Reprise deals much more damage now and can absolutely be used for these situations without letting your DPS drop by a lot. And while it may sound uncreative and boring to add another finisher spell after Scourge in the form of Resolution because of being so powerful and astonishing to look at, it actually does fit well with me, especially because it opens up even more potential to combine the 2 burst melee windows after another. However, what really sets the Red Mage apart from the Summoner and Endwalker for me is the unlimited raising potential. Just yesterday when doing the extreme fights, there were multiple situations when raising 2 or 3 people very quickly allowed us to progress further or even beat the whole thing. On the Summoner on the other hand, now with the changes to its rotation and basically the need to use Swift Cast on one or the other Ruby Rite, I'm inclined to say raising potential and its backup is much worse than on the Red Mage. Oh, and there was one situation. Yes, Summoner is having cool shields and single target heal now, but being able to actually heal yourself is another level of control, and I faced a situation where the next AoE would have killed me. But I could heal me up to 35,000 HP again, then raise the healer who then resurrected the entire party with LB3. And these moments are the best you can have in this game. By the way, just as a side note, whoever came up with the idea of Healer Limit Break 3 in the first place definitely deserves a Game Awards for groundbreaking mechanics or something like that. This thing is absolutely genius. But back to the topic. While all these things might not divide these 2 jobs too much, there's one aspect that right now will set the deal for me, and that is raw damage numbers. As my personal mathematician student has pointed out multiple times, the Red Mage is indeed the stronger choice right now when simply looking at DPS numbers. I had numerous good runs on both Red Mage and Summoner where Red Mage always had the slight edge in damage performance. However, with little tweaks in the upcoming patches, the Summoner has insane potential due to delay mechanics for Firebird and Bahamut Trance, where intermission phases can make the Summoner stand out due to the skipped time to reach its burst windows earlier than a consistent rotation would, where other jobs are just having downtime, especially the Red Mage suffers from that issue. Furthermore, every encounter throwing 2 or more targets at you for a longer period will grant the Summoner the upper hand over many other jobs, because nearly half of its rotation has cleaving and AoE damage. But even here, the Red Mage isn't powerless due to the changes of how its finishers deal damage to multiple enemies now. That feels super satisfying, especially if you have a distant target that you're able to hit with Resolution's line effect to increase your damage potential. Really cool to see things like this added to the job's possibilities and advantages. So for now, and how the balancing actually turns out to be, I'm honestly thinking about the Red Mage to become my main job. But like I said multiple times, the real fun of this game consists of playing them all, or at least a handful of selected jobs that you like. Which is the reason why I love that Summoner and Red Mage feel totally different but offer very similar benefits and playstyle fun. So as soon as they balance out the damage differences a bit, I might return to the Summoner. But for now, I'm very happy with the Versatility Master of Support. That on top of the utility deals tons of damage with all the benefits of the caster role, where melee uptime and positioning is a non-issue. Except for the 3 hits of your burst, which are still the most welcoming diversification to get this feeling of immediate danger by stepping into the hitbox of the boss and immerse in the melee uptime dream just for a few seconds, but then returning back into your comfort zone of unlimited possibilities and ranges with a spell kit to be unrivaled by the competition. But most of all, what do you think about the Red Mage in Endwalker? Do you agree on all the improvements of its combat system, or maybe you have some really good arguments against it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section and stick around for the comprehensive guide coming soon. Until then, stay safe, stay versatile, and keep loving Final Fantasy.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill, I'm searching and